back, everyone. This is Prison Breaking with Paul and Sarah, or Sarah and Paul. We don't know yet. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Paul, on screen and off, which is a story in and of itself.
Right, same. About the on-screen and off part. I'm not Paul.
But you started off as Sarah, right? I mean, the character was named Sarah when you received the script.
Yes. From the very beginning, it was Sarah Tancredi. Critical difference, there is no H.
Correct.
On Sarah,
I remember that.
Sarah's name. I was named after the only woman in the Bible that laughed at God.
Okay. That
Thanks.
is on brand. That was borne out. You are an iconoclast in that way. I am named, Mike am named after someone named Pearl, but that's just my family. And in Prison Break, there was.
Nope. You're backing up. You are Pearl Adelstein?
No, I'm Paul Adelstein, but I'm named for Pearl. I'm named after Pearl.
That's amazing. It's amazing that somebody
father's mother,
Paul and Pearl.
I guess just P. My dad's joke, even though he named me after his mother, Pearl, as Paul, was that he should have named me P. Earl, which would have been.
Yes. By the way, when I was in high school and thought I was really deep and thought I could write, I decided that my pen name would be S.A. Raw.
Yeah,
I know.
Good. And by high school, you meant when you were at Dartmouth. Okay. When you were a senior. You meant last year.
I meant this week when I pitched my novel to my agent. Yes, that's what I mean.
Actually, that's kind of dope.
Wait, but I want to hear, but you did not start out as Paul, correct?
No, it was just Agent Kellerman and Agent Hale. And then we just picked up, I don't know what episode it was, whenever we used each other's first names with one another. And it was just Danny
Paul and Danny.
Paul, and it was Danny McCarthy playing Hale and Paul Adelstein playing Kellerman. And so they just went with Danny and Paul, which was kind of funny. Why also, it is, and I don't know, I never asked Shearing about this, but Kellerman is the name of the Secret Service agent who was driving Kennedy's car. Yeah.
Yes.
So I never knew if that was a naughty thing or not.
Well, I mean, he nods at a few. We were talking earlier during the rewatch about Fibonacci.
Fibonacci sequence, yeah.
The Fibonacci sequence. By the way, small thing as we're on names, two things. One, I asked them to change Sarah Tancredi to something else because I didn't want to have the same name. And Paul Shearing goes on this whole deeply manipulative speech about how Sarah is such a noble name and so strong and so powerful. And I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. And I just wanted to stop. So fine. I'm just going to walk away because I don't want to hear this anymore. And when I saw Agent Hale, Hale is spelled H-A-L-E, which is the Hawaiian word for house, but it's pronounced Hale. So for the first three
you thought it was
episodes, I thought it was Kellerman and Hale. And then
he's not Hawaiian.
I heard it and I was like, all right, my bad. Mr. McCarthy is not playing a Pacific Islander.
Now that that's sorted out, it's time for the Callies Index. This episode is confusingly called episode 101 in our scripts, and I think on the wherever you find it, even though the title of it is Alan. Normally in television, the pilot episode of a show is called episode 1. If it's season 1, that makes it episode 101. For some reason on Prison Break, they went pilot 101. And did we shoot 23 episodes in the first season or 22?
I think we shot 22.
But it was listed as 123 because
no, it would have been 120.
No, it was listed as 121. Okay, sorry. Yes, the other.
This episode
is a Fibonacci sequence.
Doing math. Yes.
Anyway, that was confusing for us. It's probably not confusing for the audience. Anyway, the episode is titled Allen, A-L-L-E-N, written by Paul Shearing and directed by Michael Watkins, who was our producing director. A producing director is somebody who directs sometimes a majority of the episodes, but is, even though directors file in and out of television programs, is the director that's always there kind of overseeing the directing that's going on.
More on Watkins later, possibly. He was a character. We loved him. Okay, quick blurb of this episode, which we just watched, and you guys, it is way more intense than I
bananas. It's absolutely
remembered.
Bananas.
It ends.
There's a half season of plot twists in one episode.
That is exactly right. If the show was on HBO, it would have been 4 seasons of plot twists potentially, because they're very slow burny, and this was very bonfire. This was light a match, burn it down. Okay, quick blurb. Trouble is inevitable in the prison when a race riot is imminent. Michael has problems retrieving a screw from the bleachers. Veronica receives a security tape that shows Lincoln shooting Terrence Steadman.
This episode actually aired right after the pilot on August 29th, 2005, and according to our sources, had the exact same rating, which means people didn't turn it off after the pilot. I mean, people just ran right into this episode after the pilot, which just shows kind of how the show was getting its hooks in people. It was up against NFL preseason football still on ABC. The Rams beat the Lions 37-13, and a rerun of 2.5 Men on CBS and a rerun of Las Vegas on NBC. Were you ever on Las Vegas?
No, I was not.
I did an episode of Las Vegas.
Really?
Yes.
By the way, smart of the scheduling gods to put us up against reruns.
Yeah.
Because we sort of premiered in the summer.
August is at that time. End of August was a little early.
Yeah. I mean, not smart of them to schedule us opposite Hurricane Katrina, but I suppose some things can't be helped. Okay, a couple of cultural notes. It was opening day of the U.S. Tennis Open in New York, and NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter was on its way to Mars. This is a mission that would eventually prove crucial to advancing Earth's understanding of the red planet. Our show was slightly less impactful from an astronomical perspective.
I respectfully disagree. But we can get into that later. And for right now, please listen to the rewatch with us. Here's some highlights from Sarah and my reactions to watching episode 101, Alan, together. And if you want, we'd love for you to watch the whole thing with us, which is in our bonus materials.
3, 2, 1.
Play.
You know, Rockman was probably one of the best known actors on this show. Like, he was coming off of Soul Food. I remember he had like calendars with him on it and stuff. Yeah, he had like merch and stuff.
I would like a Rockman calendar.
We picked up the pilot. Fantastic. We're going to go race riot. We're going to go murder.
Yep.
We're going to send our lead all the way down a rabbit hole.
Like, none of the plan is going right, and we don't even know what the plan is.
Oh.
It's so brutal.
I almost can't watch this.
Cannot believe it's network television.
It was 9 o'clock. That's why they didn't air this at 8.
And with that, we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Prison Breaking with Sarah and Paul.
Okay, so that's our compressed rewatch. We're going to break it down now.
Yeah, let's talk about the cocktail. Let's talk about the device that we see a little bit of in the pilot, which is the tattoo, and how here we really get a sense of how this show is going to work, which is so cool. And I wonder how much of it was pre-designed during the pilot, which is that each thing on his body, each little detail of the tattoo, for in this instance, Alan, which is a piece of writing on his arm, which is backwards, which he has to show in a mirror, which says Alan Schweitzer and a number. And the audience has no idea what it means. Only Michael knows what it means. And we see throughout the episode him doing various things, unscrewing a thing with the quarter. And this screw is very important to him. We're not exactly sure why. We kind of get little hints. And then all these obstacles all these obstacles are thrown in his way. Teabag takes it away. He has to get it during the riot. The audience is rooting for Michael to figure something out that they have no idea what it means.
Yes.
It's such a cool device. And you don't really learn it until the very end, almost before the very end.
Well, and from what I remember, during the pilot, they had not worked out all of these individual
Is that right?
plot points. And so they were careful never to be too close on the tattoos in the pilot, because when we punch in on them episodically as they broke the season, there were very specific things that they needed that they sort of mapped onto his body into places that, like, we haven't seen his back shoulder. We haven't done this.
Yeah. As two people that have been in writers' rooms, I imagine at some point people's ears just started bleeding and they said, okay, we actually have to just move on and start telling stories about humans, because if I do any more research on
Tattoos, I'm going to lose my
screws and
mind.
typing systems and how to break out of a prison, I'm going to go mad. But they did an incredible job of it, in my
They
opinion.
did an incredible job. But like, I'd be willing to bet that the Christina Rose tattoo doesn't appear anywhere in season 1 because that was a season 2 plot point.
Right,
And
right.
you know, like there's only so they did a brilliant job, but there's only so far ahead that you can lay the trap.
Sure.
With the train barreling down on you.
So with that said, let's talk about the ending.
Holy effing S. I suppose we can swear on this, right? This is our podcast.
Know,
Holy fucking shit, dude. I'm
shaking my head in disbelief. Even at the time, I remember reading it because we didn't have scripts in it too far in advance. And, you know, it's network television. He puts the shears on his toe and it goes bum bum and it cuts to black and you're going to come back and he's going to be limping. And then it's going to be, I will cut you. I'll do it next time, fish. Except
even as a series, as a season finale, correct, that would have been a big moment. But what really happened
in Game of Thrones, which is, he cuts his toes off.
He cuts his toes off. He cuts his 2 left toes off. My left foot is the subtitle of this episode.
His pinky toe and his 4th toe.
Which is a ring toe? It's not a ring toe. Surely not. You don't wear toes. You don't wear rings on your toes.
So romantic. No. I have a friend with a toe ring. It's very upsetting.
Yeah, that's a very sort of 80s.
Correct.
I screamed. I forgot all about it, I'll be honest. I mean, I remembered it happened, but I thought it was much later in the episode following a giant race riot set piece. Like, it's not like it was a mellow episode that ended.
So what I remember from shooting that episode, I only had a couple scenes in it, is that I was called that I shot a thing in the car. I shot a thing in the one of the downtown office buildings in Chicago, and I'm confronting the lawyer that gave Veronica the tape.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got called out to Joliet, to Fox River, which I didn't shoot at Fox River because my character was never there. And it might have been in the next episode. And it was insanity. Right. It was, they were editing episodes and they realized that they needed shots that they didn't have, which happens on television shows often.
Yeah, but especially a big one like this.
Yeah, it was chaos. And Watkins felt like he was directing 3 shows at once. Mm-hmm. So there was a camera inside the building. They were shooting in the yard. There were cameras inside just shooting inserts of things, telephones, guns, videotapes, just shooting. And he brought me in.
Unit was like a thing.
But it wasn't even, they didn't have an insert unit yet, really, because that didn't really happen until season 2 in Dallas.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And he was setting me up. There's a scene where I confront that guy, as I just said, but there's a shot of me holding up my Secret Service badge. Mm-hmm. And somebody somewhere decided this guy needs to identify himself, or we need some kind of power dynamic. So we didn't shoot that on the day.
Badges, we don't need no stinking badges.
Correct. And so they just set up a camera against a wall. They made it super blurry. So I just hold it up again. But somebody from the yard was screaming at Watkins, screaming at him. And so it was just a camera operator. There was no DP. There was nothing. And Watkins just turns to me and goes, just hold your badge up and shoot it. You just say cut in action. You just say action and cut. He just runs out.
Was that the first thing you ever directed?
Yes. So me and the camera, I have the slate. Like me and the camera operator, like, how does it look? I'm like framing it. He's like showing me the thing.
Oh my God.
I do the slate and I hold it up. We did it like 5 times. And I was like, and that's what they use. And I was like,
and they then used it in everything.
I was like, this can't be happening. But that's how chaos. There was chaos at that moment. Not all the time, but sometimes.
But season 1 of a network show.
Yeah.
Especially then, there was a lot of chaos, and partly because they had shot this extraordinary pilot over 21, 25 days. Like back then, pilots took the better part of a month, and they're trying to condense it into 8 days.
And they had 3 times the amount of money. And I also remember one of the things that was going on that day, Sarah, was, and we did mention this briefly during the rewatch, is that when you look at the yard, it wouldn't have been yet, but when we shot the pilot, it was very cold.
Okay, wait. I want to back up to something before we go
Okay.
on to this because you're totally right about that. But I have my scripts here. And
Uh-huh.
as we were talking, since you and I have both directed episodic, made me think 8 days. Guess how many pages episode 2 is? Because, dear audience, this is a network show, which means you have 42 minutes and some odd seconds to air the show. You can't go over because they
Yeah.
use that time for advertising, and that's what pays for the show. So, unlike streaming services, when you direct on a network show, you deliver, or, well, you deliver what you deliver, but they deliver to the network a 42-minute and a little bit of a show. And that is usually works out to about a 45-page episode, which you can shoot usually in 8 days.
45. I thought it was like 53, but okay, go on.
Well, you work on fast
I was
talking
in,
shows.
and I worked
You
on
were at Shondaland.
Shondaland, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we would get up to 60, but we were talking real fast.
Okay, because this episode is 62 pages. I have the canary
Wow.
pages for me right here in front of me.
Canary
And
is the color, by the way, which also means lots of rewrites.
production
Tons
draft,
and
blue
tons of
draft, pink draft, full canary revision.
No, so not that many. I was, yeah, I guess just yellow. Yeah.
It's, yeah, that's synonyms. But you know what? I'd be curious someday to find out is how much of what we shot made it onto the screen.
Right.
And how much
Also,
had to be on the cutting room floor for time.
Also, yeah, because 62 pages is a lot. And some of that was just, like interior race riot, which doesn't take up a lot of, doesn't take up a lot, the old Gone with the Wind joke, right? Which is it's like, we can't possibly shoot this. Why? It's a quarter page. Yeah, but it says Atlanta burns.
Oh,
yeah.
I heard it Rome burns. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Rome burns. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little bit of sort of directing geekery. You very rightly pointed out that we shot the pilot in December, and we shot.
And it was, you could see their breath on the yard. Michael was supposed to be in short sleeve.
Yep, they all had on like jackets. And...
Yeah. And it was cold on the yard, and it all supposed to take place in only 30 days or something.
Very.
Doesn't he go in like, it's not September 11th, is it? Because isn't it the date of execution? October. I remember being circled on a calendar. It's like October 30. And he goes, and it's like, I have 30 days, Veronica. I have 30 days. It's like, or that's 60. Right. It was tight.
It was very. So
I remember, so we started shooting the season in July or August, which is great. I mean, hot for those guys out in the yard. But
I think it was around, I feel like it was around Independence Day, like around July 4th or something. Yeah, super hot. In fact, I have a line coming up. I don't. Sarah, without an H, has a line in an episode coming up where I say hottest April on record, because they were trying to account for the fact that it was too hot for us to wear.
Oh, yeah.
Even like long sleeves.
In Chicago, we started shooting in summer. By the middle of September or October, it's quite cold. Mm-hmm. And by November, it's real cold. But I also remember them having, because it wasn't snowing when we shot the pilot, them having to melt snow in the yard to have them walk around. Oh, yeah. I remember guys with blowers.
Oh, my gosh.
Blowing the snow and trying to melt the snow to get certain shots.
Well, and there's that shot in English Fitz or Percy where Michael pops out of the roof and it's just driving snow. Like, it's almost a whiteout. It was just blizzarding. Yeah. These are the exciting things that happen.
Yes.
But I will take it because Chicago gave us so many amazing actors. Not to mention, I mean, a really cool place to be, right? So one of the things that happened between the pilot and episode 1 is we both moved to Chicago, which I was born in Chicago. I was born in Michael Reese Hospital, which has since been taken down. Same hospital.
Everybody I grew up with was born in Michael Reese Hospital.
Well, you can put me on the list.
Yeah.
We moved to Hawaii when I was a baby, so the first time I ever remember living in Chicago was for Prison Break. But it was a great city,
and you were married. You and Josh were already married.
Yep, we were already married. We got married in 2002. So we hadn't been married very long, but we didn't have kids, and it was a great city.
Point of information: the scene in this episode in Millennium Park. Mm-hmm. I was born right to the left of where there's a shot of me and Danny, and I'm eating a hot dog. I was born at
That's
30
cool.
North Michigan Avenue, which was in a doctor's office, which is a whole different story.
Oh,
But literally right on that corner, like on the, I don't know, whatever floor. But
that's
yeah,
amazing.
right there.
And Millennium
Um,
Park was new.
like brand new. I had never seen the bean and the
Yep.
and that
The bean.
and that the you see the
Like the
huge picture of
faces.
people's faces. I'd never seen it before that day. Yeah.
And I remember coming home from work one day, and Barack Obama had just given a speech in Millennium Park. And my husband came home and he's like, I just heard one of the most extraordinary
Huh.
speeches
What year
ever.
was it? 2004 or 5? He was.
That would have been 2005.
Yeah.
He was the junior senator from Illinois.
Right.
And in fact, backing up during the pilot, because they put us up at the Harrods, no, not the Harrods,
No.
Perez Casino in Joliet during the pilot.
Oh, in Joliet, because I stayed downtown.
I stayed downtown when I wasn't shooting, but the night that like I had one overnight in Harrah's, Wentworth and I went out to dinner to try and be like, "Hi, who are you? We're going to work together." Had a lovely dinner. We're walking back to the hotel, and we pass a storefront that had been a campaign headquarters, and there are all of these Barack Obama signs
That would have been
like
for state senate. Yeah.
on the ground. That would have been 2004, and so
Yeah.
it would have
He was
just.
running for senate. Yeah.
And I remember we walked by and we went, Barack Obama. God bless that guy. There's no future
Yeah.
in politics with a
Like
name like
no chance.
that.
Yeah. Like no chance.
Didn't even know about the Hussein part. So what
Mhm.
we're saying here is I don't know anything. But Chicago was cool. You were living, we talked about this last time. You were living with
In
your
Wicker
brother.
Park. I lived
I
with
was
my
living in
brother
Wicker Park. It was a great city to live in. And because you and I
who,
didn't work that much, we had a chance to like really get to know
yeah.
the city and hang out.
Yeah, well, I knew it really. It was nice for me. I got to see all my friends. I got to start playing music with the bands I'd been in Chicago, and it was quite a year. And I had just was dating the person that I eventually married, and she hadn't spent much time in Chicago or met my friends and family really, so she could
Oh,
come, and
cool.
it was great. It was really nice, and I loved getting to work all over the city like I did, downtown, and
They showed off Chicago
yeah, they
beautifully
showed off Chicago really well.
with you. I mean, I was not in those
No,
scenes.
you were in a
Well, I was in a one room.
yeah,
But
like
okay,
quite literally.
so quite literally, except for the riots and like periodically walking around the yard. But 90% of my work, season one, was in the infirmary.
And where was that infirmary? Was that built at
No,
uh it
it
wasn't
was
a
in Joliet.
stage. It was
It
a
was in Joliet.
real infirmary type place.
Yeah, it was the actual infirmary wing, and they, because it had been a working prison, if you accidentally closed a door, none of them opened from the inside. They automatically locked you in.
Oh
And
wow.
so a couple of times Wentworth and I got locked in. We'd like go run lines down the hall and we'd hear them calling for us.
Oh.
And we'd be like, oh, they'll get us eventually. And someone would finally knock on the door. They'd be like, why didn't you come? I was like, because it's a prison, dude. And we've been locked in this here room together for the last 20 minutes.
Did we talk about the Gacy part of this yet?
Oh, the John Wayne Gacy.
He was housed there.
Do we save that for the
Yeah, for
execution
maybe
episode?
yeah, because I remember Dominic wanted to use that cell. There was a whole thing
Yeah,
about that. That was yeah.
that was dark.
We're both kind of going.
Yeah, maybe we save that.
Yeah, maybe we say that.
Okay, there's a couple of things I want to talk about the badge story, which we got to, Pugnack,
Yep.
the tank top, and you wanted to talk about a black eye. That's what I wrote down for my.
Okay. I think Pugnack is pretty quick, which is just a joke of distilling pugs into a liqueur of some kind.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so we're rewatching. So as we're rewatching, we keep hearing the word Pugnack, 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 and we decided that it should be a cocktail because it sounds like something that a small squish-faced compact dog would consume. This sounded much better in my head.
Yeah, I don't.
Or
Yeah.
inspired by a pug inspired by.
Let's challenge our listenership, all 12 of them, to design either draw a picture of
or a mocktail
or a mocktail or cocktail. What would be in a Pugnack that would be Prison Break themed cocktail?
Okay,
and maybe if we find a good one, we can use that for our drinking game.
Ooh, or we can at least.
I've always wanted to vomit on a podcast.
So there's a version that's like 1 part cognac, 1 part Pernod, 1 part tonic water, serve over ice. I don't really know what Pernod tastes like. I suppose you could also go for prune juice and cognac, which sounds like.
What's the? It's also. I've always wanted to have to go to the bathroom on a podcast. We're just going to do all these things. It has to be Prison Break related. So don't ruin our 12 listeners' fun. Let them come up with it, and we will. Right. We could just judge it later. That's much more fun.
Pitch us your best.
Something.
This is the Great Pugnack Challenge.
Great.
By the way, please don't use actual Pugnack in the making of these cocktails because it's a pharmaceutical and that's bad for you.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say don't get any pugs and distill them into liqueur. That would also
don't do that.
Horrible.
But I don't think that's something we should have to say to people. To be fair,
we'll check in with the lawyers.
We'll check in with our lawyers at Dewey, Cheatham and Howe. That's a reference to Click and Clack, the Tappert brothers, who
oh my God, Dewey, Cheatham
are amazing. Okay, there was something else that I was thinking of. They cut to Muse Watson at some point during the riot.
Cut.
He ripped, absolutely ripped. I feel like he would win the arm wrestling contest versus anybody in that cast, which is amazing because it was a pretty cut cast. Muse. Okay, so here's the thing about Muse. He has such a gentle soul, and he was this old cowboy. And I remember talking to him once about being afraid to ride horses. And because I'd been on a horse that had taken off with me when I was 8 and I'd never gotten back on. And he talked me through how to ride safely and without fear, without ever being near a horse, which just impressed the living daylights out of me. He was like,
did it bear out? Did you try it? Did it?
I've never been.
Are you on a horse right now? comfortably on a horse right now?
I need my 2 coconut shells.
That's very.
It was so sweet.
Yeah,
it was so sweet. So this is kind of dumb, but a lot of our Chicago crew were very sort of salty, and I remember talking in the hair and makeup trailer one day. I came in a men's tank top undershirt because it was super hot, and I am ashamed to say that the only way I ever knew what to call that was it was a wife beater. And I said something about like, oh yeah, sorry to just come in here in a wife beater, but blah, blah, blah. And one of our hair and makeup ladies was like, what did you call that? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's something I just received and I did not ever think about it. I'm so sorry. What do you call it? And she goes, a dago tea.
A dago tea, which is like.
And I was like, wait.
I remember making the transition. That's a weird term to use, but I remember stopping saying wife beater and starting to say dago tea before I even knew what that meant.
It took me a minute until I was like, right, fair enough. That's a racial slur. Great. Or an ethnic slur, I suppose. Ethnic stereotype. So that's what life was like behind the scenes.
But people in wardrobe departments still do not say tank top. Well, because it's a particular thing, because it's ribbed and
it's an undershirt situation.
Undershirt, that's good too.
But an undershirt, I feel like, is a V-neck and sleeve.
But isn't there a T word for it? Because it's not T, but like, isn't there a letter that it looks like an A shirt? I don't know.
I have no idea. I really don't.
I'm boring myself to tears.
And we will be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to Prison Breaking with Sarah and Paul.
What else was it you wanted to talk about my black eye?
Sarah has a slight, very slight discoloration under her right eye that I remember being the cause of some consternation for you because you were like, stop trying to cover it up, or it was impossible to cover up. I remember at one point or something, like it just kind of comes through.
I mean, I notice it in the show, like in that I'm barely in episode 1 here,
I
but I
did
did.
not notice it. I just remember looking at your face, remembered that it was a thing.
I mean, look, if I am wearing no makeup, people come up to me and ask me if I'm okay.
Uh-huh.
It's dark enough that
Uh-huh.
it looks like I got popped. When I was in grad
Mm.
school, a bunch of my teachers had like an intervention because they knew that my
Whoa.
husband had been a martial artist, and they were like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I really appreciate that. But y'all be here for 3 years and it's never going to go away." But it's not just under my eye, it's also the eyelid, and it goes above my eyebrow all the way
Oh.
back into my hairline. And so it's pretty
Are
significant.
you comfortable telling us what it's from?
Well, I mean, two things happened. I'm told by doctors that neither one of them medically could produce this result, and yet here we are. The first is that when I was in high school, I got kicked in the head with a soccer ball on that
Okay.
spot. And the ball was kicked by Nadine Wong, who was like a junior champion soccer player. She was amazing. Um, and it was totally my fault. I was sitting on the sidelines because I'm not an athlete, and I was not paying attention to the game. And
Uh-huh.
the ball flew off sides and hit me. It was my fault, not hers. Um, and I got a bruise. And then because it was Hawaii and it was the 90s and I didn't wear sunscreen, I'm told that sometimes a bruise on your face can just kind of get like
Ah.
branded on by the sun.
Huh.
Um, and then a few years later, I was on tour. You can make fun of this. It's fine. With the Glee Club of my college, and I was standing in front of Grand Central Station.
Uh-huh.
My first time in New York City on my own, and I thought I looked both ways, and I must not have because I stepped off the curb and I got hit by one of those motorized messenger bikes,
Oh God.
and I went flying, and I landed on the ground and I hit my head, and I skidded so far that I remember this is back when you wore, not you, but wore pantyhose to perform, and the
Oh.
pantyhose fused to my hip.
Oh my goodness.
And I was totally in shock. So those are the two times I've hit that part of my head. Um, yeah, but in every show I'm in,
Yeah,
they cover
it's a
it up.
thing.
On Walking Dead, I had bangs.
Uh-huh.
Makeup's gotten better,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, it was a thing. It was a thing. I'm wondering, I mean, I'm kind of curious about this music that you were playing with your band in Chicago.
No, we don't have to talk about that. I mean, we can eventually because we can talk about we played a Halloween show. A group of us played a Halloween show as the Ponzi Lads, which is a kind of comedic, insane,
Amazing.
fake mustached sailor suits, playing covers like a mashup of Games Without Frontiers into Honky Cat and Closer by 9 Inch Nails into the Sopranos theme, kind of
Wow.
insanity for a Halloween show that was jammed. As you know, Chicago, well, everywhere Halloween
Chicago
now, but Halloween in Chicago was pretty
parties.
insane. And a
Yeah.
lot of the Prison Break cast came, and they, frankly, just didn't quite know what to make of me after seeing
Is
me
this
as
like on our show?
like a crew cut Secret Service agent into a guy like in a long blonde wig with a mustache and looking kind of like the guys from Three Dog Night on crack.
Amazing. By the way,
I
can we
think the
have
other
some
thing
of
to
those
talk about is
songs
that there
on
was the introduction of a huge character in which was Teabag, played by
Theodore
Robert Redford.
Bagwell
Yeah,
and his pocket.
And his pocket, which becomes a huge plot point and point of thorn in Michael's side.
Mm-hmm.
A big wrench thrown into his plans for season after season.
Season after season, and a very much a fan favorite, which is both troubling and understandable. maybe. I mean, he's drawn with such a
Yeah.
thick brush. I remember doing, I think it was between season 1 and 2. Robert and I were invited to the Indy 500 to, do a
This is
lap.
Robert Nepper who played Teabag.
Yes, thank you for
Mhm.
clarifying.
Mhm.
To do a lap in the pace car and do some of those events and stuff. And they invited a gang of celebrities. Richard Marx was there, which made my teenage heart all aflutter. Gene Simmons
Wow.
was there, which my husband thought was the
Wow.
coolest thing ever. And his spectacularly beautiful wife. And I found this out at the time. The Indy 500 is the largest live sporting event in the world.
Oof.
Like 500,000 people show up,
Oof.
and and we did a lap in the pace car, and they went bananas for Teabag, to the point where I was like, I'm not sure this is healthy. They loved him. The NASCAR set was all about the Bagwell.
Wow.
But yeah, it was intense. And it's a
Also,
hell of an introduction.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's a hell of an introduction, and it's quite a arc. And also, I mean, they named him Teabag, and it ended up on network TV.
Yep. And do you think that's because the people who would have objected didn't know? Yes.
1,000%.
What do you think happened when, like, halfway through the season, people started
It's kind of really, I don't know if I would have realized it quite even that early unless they were really on monitoring it wasn't social media yet. Obviously there was an active internet community around this, but
there wasn't social media, though.
It wasn't social media.
That's important to,
because I remember Television Without Pity in season 2, which we can really start talking about later.
Was that season 2? It wasn't season 1?
That's when I became aware of it. That's when Wentworth sent me some links to check it out.
He did monitor that quite closely.
He did at times. He was actually very sweet about it. And but yeah, I wonder. I mean, once that cat is out of the tea bag, you can't put it back in.
So to speak. We should find out. We should have one of our producers on at some point and go, hey, or maybe Paul Sharing would know.
Yeah.
How did you get this past people? By the way, for those of you who don't know, don't Google it, because you'll never be the same. Just ask a teenager in your life, and be prepared for them to be horrified.
Upset you, yeah.
Yeah, and they'll be upset that you asked. But you can say it's for a podcast, and I'm sure they'll understand. Okay.
No, they won't. Okay.
Let's wrap it up. This episode was really fun. I'm still getting over the toes thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with us while we talk about
very,
Chicago.
Very. I was kind of when it ended, I was really I was like, maybe we should just roll right into the next one, because it's got its hooks in me now. I want to just keep watching.
But okay, so our next episode, we will have a special guest with us.
Yes.
And I'm excited to watch the show with our special guest. So we'll take a beat in between. Thank you. We should have some kind of cool sign off. We should come up with a sign off.
I don't even know if that's the music.
Maybe we'll just say, stay out of prison, kids.
These aren't good sign offs. Yeah, stay out of prison. And if you go to prison, make sure you get those tattoos.
That's all we have to say.
And exonerate yourself.
Bye.
Bye. Prison Breaking with Sarah and Paul is a Caliber Studio production. Your hosts have been friends, but not besties, Sarah Wayne Callies and Paul Adelstein. Our prison warden has been producer Ben Haber. Keeping us slim and trim in the prison yard has been sound designer and editor Jeff Schmidt. Keeping us up to date on the outside world is production assistant Drew Austin. Letting the world know what's been happening to us in prison is social media manager Emma Tolkien. Our music was done by Paul Adelstein. Our prison artist, logo, and brand designer is John Nunziato and Little Big Brands. Check him out at www.littlebigBrands.com. Follow us on Instagram at Prison Break Podcast. Email us at prisonbreaking@caliberstudio.com and call us at 401-3PBreak. Prison Breaking with Sarah and Paul has been a Caliber Studio production. Thank you for listening.